Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. We'll discuss that how Mother Earth take care of the creations, whatever resources being created for the purpose of utilizations in the meaning and purpose of life. What is meaning and purpose of human form of life is not really tried to be understood by most of the human being. That is the primary importance. Mudha mam na abhijanati. Those who know or inquire about the meaning and purpose of human form of life, they understand themselves, the material nature, and the interaction between the material nature. They know themselves and their relationship with the creator. Bhagavad Gita basically explains these five concepts which are understood by the people who cultivate Athato Brahma Jigyasa, or the meaning and purpose of life is understood by them. They can really utilize the resources for the purpose of meaning, the purpose and the meaning of human form of life. The Veda or the scriptures try to train the people on this. They are summarized in Achinta Veda Tattva into three categories. What is the meaning and purpose of life? Sambandha, Abhidhaya, Prayojana. Prayojana is called purpose of the life. Sambandha is called meaning. Abhidhaya is combiningly cultivating the meaning and purpose. What is purpose is to get the love of Supreme Personality of Godhead. What is the mean is first one should understand the meaning is that we have a relationship with God, and based on that we should act. And what is the avidya is the way to achieve the ultimate purpose of human form of life. Being unaware this concept, unaware about the purpose of the creation, living entity suffers with his own propaganda of sense enjoyment, where he repeatedly fell, yet he is not able to realize due to the influence of Maya. Maya influence in such a way that a living entity is perplexed after repeatedly suffering from the material miseries. Utkramantam stitam vapi bhunjanamba gunanitam vimudha nanu pasyanti jnana chakshusha. Those who is not having the knowledge or do not cultivate the science of self realization, who never inquire about the absolute Brahman, they are in the stage of Mudha, who are completely overpowered by the influence of Maya. Krishna Surya Sama Tara Nahi Maya Andhakar, who is not cultivating Krishna consciousness, is fully under the influence of Maya. And who is cultivating Krishna consciousness in the path of understanding the meaning of human form of life and cultivating the devotional service, the process of devotional service, karma and jnana are when they are cultivated to understand Supreme Personality of Godhead, it's called karma yoga and jnana yoga. But if it is cultivated to understand Supreme Personality of Godhead and please Supreme Personality of Godhead, then called karma yoga and jnana yoga. And bhakti yoga is the direct path to progress swiftly in understanding the meaning and obtaining the purpose of creation. So here, Brahmaji intended to create these resources so that they can be utilized for the pleasure of Vishnu, and people in general can have more spiritual understanding. Especially in the age of Satya, people are fully engaged in cultivating the science of self-realizations. So they were meditating for millions of years. They are somewhere having minimum 1 lakh years. Some sages have millions of years lifetime. Some sages are still living because of their ability of understanding the meaning and purpose of creation. So Lord Brahma's plan is that material world having all the living entity being engaged in Vedic direction so that they can finally go back to the Godhead. That is the purpose actually. Who obtains love for Supreme Personality of Godhead, they need not to take birth again. Not only that, once they enter into the spiritual kingdom, they will never return. Natat bhasoyat surjano sasankano pavoga yad ganta na nivartante tat dham paramamama. That is the abode of Supreme Personality of Godhead. When one living entity enters into that, it will never need to come back. So those devotees who knows this, they utilize all the resources available and supplied by Mother Earth, such as fruits, flowers, grains, any animals or living entity, all should be engaged for the pleasure of Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu. Yajna Purusa is Lord Vishnu. And any activities performed for yajna called yajna or that karma. So those devotees who perform yajna or the karma, they are called Khila, Akhila Chestasa Krishna Arthe. They do many kind of endeavor. Akhila means all kind of chesta means endeavor. For Krishna, Krishna Arthe, for Supreme Personality of Godhead, for the pleasure of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they keep a very strong determination without being failed from the determinations to only please Supreme Personality of Godhead through their all of his activities. That's why they are called Drudhavarta. So, so Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, the topmost Drudha. Dhruva Maharaj is the pole star in understanding the determinations for pursuing the activities of pleasure of Supreme Personality of Godhead called Abhideya. And that in Dwapara, you see, Bhishma Pitamaha is also Drudha Brata. In this age of Kali, you can see that people are not having any determinations. Sometimes they repeatedly suffer with the bad habits, bad practices, and they determine that from tomorrow I will not do. Then mind come, oh, let me enjoy it today. Tomorrow I will not come, and that will continue. Especially you see those people who are attached to intoxications or association with women, so they suffer this and even though repeatedly try to come out of this, they cannot. So that is the reason that they are very poor in determinations in this age of Kali. One must keep the vow that to seriously engage in the service of Supreme Personality of Godhead, not intending for material sense enjoyment. Sthane sthita hrudgat manobhakati. So whatever situation given is given to us by our prarabdha, we have unlimited prarabdha to suffer. And because of the mercy of Krishna, this prarabdha all can assemble in one life, and may this one life appear to be very strugglesome. And here Krishna is there to help us, and we are in science of Krishna consciousness to remember Krishna and seek help from Krishna to mitigate and cross over all the prarabdha in one go, in one life. That should be the object of human form of life, with a strong vow that in one life I will stop all this prarabdha, all the accumulated sins repeatedly that I made me suffer one life after another life with the repeated suffering of janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi. Let this life, whatever suffering it might be, because Krishna is there to drive with his intelligence. My intelligence, who is the Sarathi, was made me into trouble life after life. Now, let me give this reign of the senses in the hand of Krishna, whose intelligence will guide to cross over all such difficulties of Prarabdha in this very life. That is called Drudabrata. And such Drudabrata can cross. You may have unlimited diseases, unlimited pains, whatever. If Krishna is there, just like how Krishna protected Arjuna, he can protect you. And you make your mind should be understood that this life is last life. Suppose you are eating some prasad and your stomach will give indication that you are full. Your brain will give that signal that you don't need any more food and you are full. Similarly, when you suffer all these consequences and with a dhrida brata while executing for the pleasure of Supreme Personality of Godhead, amidst of all such problems, yet you are able to stick to serve Krishna. How determined was Dhruva Maharaj? How determined was Bhishma Pitama? Bhishma Pita appeared to be so, pious, strict to abide by religion, yet he had to suffer his prarabdha, sarasajyasayanam. That is very difficult. We cannot tolerate even pinch of needle. How he suffered such long durations of sleeping over the tip of arrow. So all those problems can appear to our life, yet we will never deviate from the service of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then we can be called as Drudabrata to cess this human form of life or any material form of life. This as the last. While giving up your body, you will only remember Krishna. Jam jam bap ismaran tejati anta kalevaram. We will never think about continuing any other unfulfilled sense enjoyment. Everything fulfilled here by pleasing the senses of Supreme Personality of Godhead will be fulfilled with all that hankering remaining in our mind, and that makes us eligible to stop the repeated cycle of birth or death. And that is the reason that whole cosmic creation was facilitated to living entity, so that gradually they come to this understanding and live a life to please Supreme Personality of Godhead and stop repeated cycle of birth and death. Go back Godhead. Nowadays, you can see for sense gratifications what kind of sufferings are there for themselves and for the neighbors, for the society, for whole world. Terrorism, religious motivated violence, stealing, killing, rape, murder, all these nonsense are going on. So these miscreants and lowest of mankind, misled by the illusory energy, are called asadbhihi. Asadbhihi, those whose mentality, whose mind has never accepted eternity, who has always taken the path of falsity, are completely overpowered by the illusory energy, and so if they misuses the resources for sense gratifications and degrade their life, have no understanding about the meaning and purpose of life, has no spiritual growth, and that these things are going in percentage nowadays. Such kind of mayaya aparuta jnana or asadvi are filled all part of the world. Their dense has even crossed the percentage of 99% or 98, 99%. Such people are there. So Mother Earth respond to protect the creations of the Brahma so that it can give when the true people or devotees come to cultivate Krishna consciousness. So it is very urgent and essential that the saintly personalities should spread the science of Krishna consciousness so that every part, every village, every town, the real spiritual practices be going on. The pleasure or Jagyartha karma should be performed. Then Mother Earth will provide sufficient resources, nutritions. Otherwise, Mother Earth has to hide all these within herself. So that is what you can see, that whole world is suffering with the nutritions. The hunger indexes all are there is because of their over exploitations of the resources, for which Mother Earth has to hide the resources. Otherwise, all these resources were readily made by Brahma so that all the living entity can have proper food to their satisfactions by offering their food to Jagyarthat karma. So those who do this, the Jagyasishtasina Santa Muchante Sarvakali Visai, Te tu Agham Papa Je Pachanti Atma Karanat. Those who are cooking for themselves and eat without offering to Supreme Personality of Godhead, they incur sins, and those who offer all the remnants, those who offer to Lord Vishnu or in a yajna, and whatever remnants comes as Mahaprasad, they eat that. So they destroy all the accumulated sins. In one sense, one destroy accumulated sins. In other sense, one acquire sins. Jagyarthat karmana anatra lokayam karma bandhana. Not only they incur sins, but also they are bind in the forces of Maya, repeatedly suffer the material miseries. So consequence of this is that this age of Kali, there is all these environmental pollutions, the resources were hidden, and there is quarrel everywhere, fighting, and material motivated. People are so much addicted to sense enjoyment. They are not able to follow any Vedic principles, and so overpowered by the reactions of Mother Earth, they fall in trap of greenhouse effect, increase in temperature, lack of survivability. Ecosystem is destroyed. Many useful living entity are destroyed. And finally, the imbalance causes many fatal disasters. Finally, become unsuitable place of living, loss of vegetation, lack of food, lack of place to stay, to cultivate land, because as greenhouse effect increases, temperature increases, the glaciers melt down, and the sea level increases, and the rivers will be overflown, so the land will be flooded. This way, there will be no place to live or cultivate, do cultivation, and finally, there will be all such troubles in this age of Kali. So this impact of value education is an urgent and all the smart people should try to understand the real smartness of understanding the science and spirituality. Scientifically understand body, mind, yourself, nurture the smartness, logical thinking. All these aspects are called logical, intellectual, interpersonal, visual, musical, bodily kinesthetics, interpersonal, and verbal linguistic ability, mathematical, philosophical. All these multiple smartness of intelligence can be applied when one is trained with both science and spirituality together. These cultivations of the purpose through value education can impart essential spiritual teachings along with deeper meaning and purpose of human form of life, which cultivate the spiritual growth, fostering inner peace, personal growth, and and connection or yoga with Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that with their modern scientific knowledge blended with the guidance by Vedic principle or spirituality can work for the satisfaction of Supreme Personality of Godhead, ensuring the responsibility or ethical use of resources. So, ethics in science is very important, and only this value based educational training can bring this change. So, these sustainable practices among all the intellectual peoples who are trained well can help align with the environmental sustainability and promote the Krishna consciousness, so that people utilize the resource properly and the consumptions are in a such a way that it finally conserve with a conscious effort towards the mother nature. So that is the transformative impact required to the society through the value-based educations, and with the help of Vedanta or Vedic directions, when these teachings are led to both spiritual and material well-being, provide a balanced approach of life. With this, the holistic prosperity can be achieved with bodily, mental level, spiritual level, intellectual level. All kind of prosperity can be achieved. So, in order to do that, we need to bring people to motivate into this culture of spiritual sciences by doing some travel to the places where the Vedic knowledge were more cultivated, like Vrindavan, Haridwar, Puri, all these places. When we go where this Gurukul pattern were trained, Mayapur, then we see the value education and the importance of value educations, and in every places we can spread this transformative process of value educations, which can better this society and better the environmental transformations which can bring a symbiosis and ecological effect to upgrade the vegetations and the clean air ecosystems in a balanced manner work so effectively. So until there are human beings who exploits the material nature are aware and correct themselves individually, everyone and collectively through the effort of voluntary social worker and the policies of government by facilitating these social works of correcting people and the resource engagement in the service of mother nature. This cannot happen. Environment impact is that greenhouse problem is a big challenge. So there was a resolution to free this mother nature from greenhouse effect by 2050, and yet no substantial actions has been taken. We are still under the serious problems of greenhouse. Spiritual training is essential until these people were trained to utilize the spiritual resources for environmental health, for increasing more greenery by more plantations, and reduce the industrial uses and shifting the carbon less carbon footprint machineries are essential in various addressing various issues. This ecological balance cannot happen without protecting the environment, without following the proper practices of environmental protections. This greenhouse reduction is urgent and important, otherwise in 20 or 30 years we will not able to get oxygen. So you can see the situation of Delhi. Oh, it has been worsened that government has to ask the people to work from home, and we cannot mitigate the climate changes. There will be drought. Sometimes there will be over rain. Sometimes there will be drought. And when there is no rain required, that time it will be raining. And when there is rain required, there will be no rain. All these climatic situations during winter, there can be overheat. During summer, during winter there can be over cold, and during summer there can be overheat. All these issues are there. So making a carbon free environment is urgent and important. So practicing this through utilizations of more renewable energy by fostering the development with mother nature and avoiding carbon free environment, clean air, healthier living conditions is urgent need. That when we practice this intention that we want to live in a healthier environment, all collectively work for that, then gradually Mother Earth will increase the vegetations. We can see more greener earth filled with varieties of vegetations that can foster biodiversity, enhancing natural beauty of the environment where we can live more peacefully. So this initiative must be supported everywhere, every part of the world. So this initiative has to be taken care by every individuals. Every individual must know that understanding the value educations, the science and spirituality synthesized is very urgent and important. Otherwise, we will not able to sustain our future. Our children will have to suffer a lot. The situation is not at all good right now itself. How it will be ruined in 20 to 30 years is well understood. So integrations of science and spirituality for this transformative change required the Vedantic sages or the training from the already practicing pure devotees can help us understand science, spiritualism, ensuring harmonious life. And the expert of scientist and saint like our Guru Maharaj, Dr. T.D. Singh, that to understand scientifically the concept of human form of life, epistemology, ontology, imagining the interaction between nature and science and human being is very important so that we can bring harmony among all this. We have reached the time. The essence is that the ethical use we can learn from our ancient historical examples that how in Vedic civilizations the proper ethical use of every resources led a peaceful environment and peaceful healthy human beings. Ultimately they were going back to Godhead as the ultimate meaning and purpose of life. So this kind of training is utmost important to mitigate modern challenges. Now we are at the age of artificial intelligence, so ethical use of AI cannot be achieved without understanding spiritual values and practices. To ensure all this, positive fostering of human values is utmost important object of human form of life and lead a successful journey in this human form of life and go back Godhead. Thank you. Any questions? Yes. Hare Krishna. जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय गुरु महाराज श्रीपाद की जय श्री प्रभुपाद